Hello and welcome to the round so far, brought to you by AAMI. I'm Riley Beveridge. This is Kane Cornes. Kane, plenty to get through. Hawthorn are on a tear, but we have to start with the big story tonight, and it is Dustin Martin's 300th. One of the greatest players we'll ever see play this game. And he started it with a bang. He kicked Richmond's first.
Yeah, would you believe it that he was the one that kicked the first? He thought, hold on here, that's what they came to see. 92,000, biggest home and away crowd. Not considering Anzac Day since 1981. So well done to everyone who turned up. These are the scenes after the game. I loved this. I thought he did it really well, where he waved to every corner of the MCG, and then we'll hear from him in a moment. But all the people hung around to see him. The great scenes, and you could see and sense his emotion and what it meant to him today.
Richmond Hawthorn, both out of the 8 at the moment. 92,000, as he said, a great moment. And they all heard from Dusty after the game.
I love the Tiger Army so much. I love the club so much. It means the absolute world to me. All the love I received this week has just meant the absolute world to me. So thank you everyone who sent me a message, social media, on the radio. I felt so loved this week, so I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
It was fantastic to hear from Dustin Martin. I thought both Richmond and Hawthorn did that really well at the end of the game as well. Hawthorn, they are on a tear, as we mentioned. They've won 6 of their last 7 games. Their ball movement has been fantastic at the moment. Yeah,
I reckon they went into this game and they wanted to get Richmond on the outside, which what they were able to do. Their game is so well balanced. They can score from stoppage, which they've really fixed up since the start of the year. They can score from their back half. They've got so many elite ball users. Their high forwards come high up the ground. The Wizard gets involved here. We'll get to him shortly. Dylan Moore's having an excellent season, as is Ginnivan. They got weapons everywhere. McKenzie and McDonald are starting to really find their feet at the level. Lou Bruce comes on as the sub. He's been the sub for a number of weeks. Gunston was subbed out and Chol was excellent. So their ability to score off turnover, which they did today, they can score from centre bounce and stoppage, they can score from their back half. Sam Mitchell would be thrilled with the profile that he's putting together.
We mentioned they've won 6 of their last 7 games. If you just go through the ladder over the last 7 weeks, there they are. Hawthorn are second on the table. So they're 6-1 in their last 7. Their only defeat was that late defeat to Port Adelaide. So it should have been 7 straight. Had they won against Port Adelaide, they would have been in the top 8 overall.
Yeah, well, they're the second best team in it right now. That's what it says. Absolutely, because they've beaten some good sides. It's not as if they're beating the sides down the bottom of the ladder. They've beaten the Western Bulldogs. They've beaten the Giants. They've had a really good win. They should have beaten Port Adelaide. They've had a really good win today in what was a finals-like atmosphere. I was waiting to see how their young players would cope because they've largely been shafted with the fixture. They play a lot of off-Broadway games, but that was marquee today, 92,000, and the players ate it up. So you get the feeling like if they were to qualify for finals, a long way to go, that if they were to turn up for elimination final, their players would love it and relish the moment.
One word, do you think they will?
No, I think they'll finish just short. But they won 8 last year. If they can win 10, 11, maybe 12 with poor percentage and just miss out, that's an excellent year.
It certainly is. You mentioned Nick Watson before. It was the classic Nick Watson game that he's had so far this year. Really lively, really energetic, did some great things in the forward half, just couldn't finish his work. So he's kicked 5-15 this year and he's had 4 misses completely. He should really have 20 goals.
Yeah, so he's just got a technique flaw with his set shot where he reels right around to the right. He maybe have been watching too much Brian Myers. He doesn't need to be doing that. But that's an easy fix. So you can look at this 2 ways. And opposition supporters will look at it and he'll be the one that they love to hate. But if I'm a Hawthorn fan, I'm loving this. This is this kid's first year. And the only thing that's really stopping him is himself. He could have kicked 5 today on the MCG. I kind of like this stuff. And he'll get a good balance. Yep, they're going to hate that stuff, and that probably wasn't a free kick. They'll sort that out. But he's putting himself in dangerous spots. I love his competitiveness. I think he puts himself in dangerous positions to score. I think he competes. I think he tackles. He's strong in the air for such a little player. So in his first year, that's a big tick. He'll fix up that goal kicking. They've got a potential star on their hands. He's going to have a long career.
Yeah, I really like him. Another potential star is Joel Amadi. He's our Saturday star. Let's get to the Adelaide Oval now. Amadi kicks 9 goals from 10 disposals tonight as the Swans got over the line.
This is the story of it. So what a performance from Joel Amadi. A career best, clearly 9 goals. Before that it was 4. And he did it without touching the footy hardly in the first quarter. He's had 10 kicks and he's kicked 9-1. He was just on an absolute once-in-a-lifetime game at the Adelaide Oval. Now, no one's kicked more than 6 as an individual this year, and he goes out there and kicks 9. Potentially could have been 10 if Sam Wicks didn't get in his road late in the last quarter. And
he was
then
benched.
if Longmire didn't sub him off the game. So, I mean, he kicked straight. He made the most of his opportunities. That was the good. The way that Adelaide defended him was shocking. So when the amount of space that they gave him, you saw a number of those in those clips, they were always 2 metres off him. There was no body contact whatsoever. They allowed him to run and jump and mark the footy at the highest point. So, yeah, the fallout for this from Adelaide, off the back of being pretty competitive in the first half, will be significant.
The Crows were 16 points up late in the third quarter, and then all of a sudden the Swans turned it on. So have a look at this. It all really started with this moment where Isaac Heaney, one of the best players in the competition this year, was just allowed to roam free, forward to centre, takes an easy mark. Sydney kicked 6 goals in the last 10 minutes.
That's the Brownlow medal favourite. That is the best player in the game right now. That is your defensive 50, and you allow him to do that. So, look, I'd be a little bit nervous if I was Matthew Nicks. I know there is a contract for 2 years, but performances like this, undisciplined efforts like that from Hinge, cost you 2 goals straight. As you said, they kicked 6 goals in 11 minutes, and Sydney can do that. We know that. We know the power that they've got in this midfield and in their side, and they can blow you off the park like they did today. But Adelaide's inability to defend, for Sydney to kick 10 in a row, for one individual to kick 9 off the back of losing to Hawthorn, to Richmond, and now in that fashion to Sydney, and sitting 15th, well over the halfway mark of the year. I know they re-signed him for a couple of years, but you wouldn't be sleeping that well if you were Matthew Nicks. Boards have done stranger things, so we'll just see how the rest of the year plays out for him and the footy club.
Sydney have got off to a slow start over the last month, but then you mentioned their surges. So have a look at this. They haven't been ahead at quarter time in any of their last 4 games, but have a look at that on the right-hand side. So they won the rest of the game by 61 against Carlton, 16 against the Dogs, 59 against Geelong, 53 against the Crows. Their scoring power is unbelievable when they get it going.
189 in quarter 2, 3 and 4 over the last 4 matches. So it doesn't matter what happens or how they start or how far they are behind. They don't care. Now, ideally, they would want to start better, and I think it's a good thing for them to have. I think it's good for them to have a weakness in their game that they can really strive to improve as the season goes on. That can be the focus. How are we going to start in first quarters? Because if they're with the team at quarter time, then good luck catching them. But other than that, I can't remember as powerful unit as this, and something extraordinary would have to go wrong for them not to be playing on grand final day.
You mentioned Adelaide's problems defensively, but what about offensively? Because they managed only 35 inside 50s tonight, minus 26. They were minus 6 against Richmond last week, minus 22 against Hawthorn. They just can't get the ball moving forward.
So have a look at this. Have a look at the hesitation when the Crows players get the footy. Off fast play, some of these are as well. So off turnover, off fast play, they'll look up and they won't want to kick it because there's nothing to kick to. So this is the concern for Matthew Nicks. They're out there. There's got to be a forward presenting. There's got to be multiple. But you can see Sydney flooding back, and they have to go backwards, and then that's exactly where Sydney want them. And then this leads to a turnover. Bang, you're gone. So what should be a fast play, deep entry inside forward 50, one-on-one to give your forwards a chance, ends up going backwards and you turn it over. That's the worry for Matthew Nicks, because that wasn't Adelaide last year. So there's so many areas of their game, 35 entries tonight. Is not going to get it done. That's why I'd be a little bit nervous for Matty Nicks.
They were the highest scoring team last year and they just can't get the ball forward of centre. Let's get to Marvel Stadium now, where Marcus Bontempelli helped the Western Bulldogs defeat Fremantle. He didn't train all week because he had the flu game. This was the flu game for Marcus Bontempelli. 30 disposals and 3 goals.
3 on 1. What a freak. This guy is an absolute freak. He's the best player in the comp. That is cemented. It's Bontempelli and it's Dacos. And then, I don't know who's next, Warner or Heaney. But what he did today was just amazing. So, 8 score involvements at half-time. But you know what helps? When you go into a game and you leave the best player in the game with that much space, what do you reckon is going to happen to Justin Longmuir? What do you think will happen if you let Bontempelli, who has an extraordinary record already against Fremantle, you see what Brisbane did to him last week to keep him to 19 touches, and you're allowing him to do this, one of the best kicks inside forward 50 with no one near him. So I can't believe it. You'd think in their coaches' meetings, their planning meetings, that would have been circled in red. You start with Bontempelli and you work your way out.
No one wanted to get the flu game.
No one wanted to go anywhere near him. That was a terrible performance, that tactically, but also across the board from a team who we were starting to trust in Freo. Now, they lost a lot of trust today.
Let's get to Rory Lobb, because against his former side, he delivered probably his best performance, maybe as a Western Bulldog. He had 19 disposals and kicked 3 goals. In the absence of Sam Darcy, who's obviously suspended, played a bit of ruck as well. He was really strong.
Yeah, he was. He was great. And that's what he's there for. Like, if you get an injury to Norton or Darcy or both, you've got the luxury of this guy. And he came in and played to the expectation that you would have expected him to. Now, his career's a little bit at the crossroads. Whether he's there next year, I don't know. But he's got an opportunity to really either increase his price for next year and suitors, or to have a long career if he performs like this. The worry is that consistently he hasn't been able to do that. But the Dogs were terrific today.
Yeah.
Honestly, the way that they coached the game, and Luke Beveridge needs to take credit for this, shut down Luke Ryan and their interceptors behind the ball and bring the game into a contest and absolutely destroy Fremantle around the contest and scores from stoppage, was a terrific performance.
Well, both of these teams love winning the footy, and today the Dogs were able to do that. So you have a look at this. Between opening round and round 13, first for disposals, third for disposals, the Dogs had 74 more touches than the Dockers today.
It was a shutdown. It was a complete shutdown. So, yeah, absolutely, you can say it. To keep them to 300 touches, that is a huge win. To bring the ball in tight, to win contest. Now, Fremantle in the first quarter looked dangerous when they were transitioning the ball with speed, but the Western Bulldogs were able to regroup at quarter time, shut that down, and this was a dominant performance where you nearly kick 150 points.
All right, let's get to our AAMI clangers now. Who covers clangers? AAMI does, and we start at the MCG where they had a Dusty 300 Barber Club. I think Sarah Ollie's partner, Marzi, got one of these haircuts today as well, so that was fantastic. Then look at Tom Papley.
You need one of those haircuts. There's Tom Papley tonight. Did that very, very well, but this not so. So this was 3 years ago where he actually
He's learned his lesson.
Crowd, so he absolutely has learned his lesson. Very nimble tonight at Adelaide, and a much softer landing than what he showed a few seasons ago.
He did that very well, but Mason Wood, he didn't have a soft landing. Have a look at this, straight into the post last night.
Bang.
That hurts. That was quite a bit of whiplash there for Mason Wood.
Yeah, he did well to get up, and that's a goal that was a missed opportunity, wasn't it?
It certainly was. All right, AAMI Clangers for Good is up and running in 2024. AAMI is donating $10 to community footy for every clanger recorded over selected rounds, with 8 lucky local clubs across the season taking home up to $15,000. To enter, head to the URL on your screens and tell us what the clanger donation would mean to your local club. The competition closes next Friday, June 21. All right, let's stay at the Gabba now, where Brisbane just got over the line against St Kilda on Friday night, and it was all thanks to their goals late in quarters. After the 25-minute mark, they kicked 7 goals to 1 against St Kilda.
Yeah, so it was a really strong performance. You thought this is going to be a dominant one. Credit to the Saints, they didn't go away and they came storming home late. Early in the last quarter, and you thought, oh, hang on, they're going to absolutely snatch this one at the Gabba. There's a few poor efforts here defensively, so they'd be pretty concerned about conceding 126 points. There's another one late in quarters. You can see the time there where this was essentially, as you said, the difference in the game. So 7 goals to 1 after the 25-minute mark. Danaher was magnificent, 20 touches, 12 marks, 5 goals on Caminiti. That's just a bizarre matchup for me. Like, how the Saints thought Caminiti would get the job done on Danaher actually really confuses me, and Joey made the most of that. He had his kicking boots on and was probably the best player on the ground.
It was one of the rare Ross Lyons St Kilda games where both teams scored 100 points. Ross was asked after the game whether he thought that was a small positive to take from this one.
Oh yeah, I'm going to go and light a candle. Yeah, it's fantastic. I get birthday cake out and I go, yippee. No. No, I don't want to be flippant. I got all the Saints fans. Look, that was good. Like, where we felt we had opportunities like that last week, to be honest. We didn't connect and just slaughtered them as well. We probably left a few on the table.
So this is St Kilda's record under Ross Lyon. Ross Lyon's entire career, in fact, 343 games. Only 25% of them have they scored 100 points, his sides. In just under 6% have they conceded 125 points. And in just 2% have both sides scored 100
So this
each.
would be the worry for me. Has he second-guessed himself off the back of the media scrutiny last week about their lack of scoring? So this week he said he wants to score more, which they're able to do, but only 20 times in the whole of his coaching career, 343 times, has he conceded 125 or more. So has he completely overcorrected? Now it's one game, so we won't read too much into it, but if he has done that, how's the confusion for his players to go, now we're going to completely change the way that we play halfway through the season and be less defensively orientated at the expense of scoring more. So there's got to be a balance there, but they certainly didn't find the balance, and they weren't able to shut down Brisbane, who once again just possessed the ball time and time again with uncontested marks.
Can Brisbane make an impact this season now, because they've won 4 of their last 6 games, only 1 defeat in that time with the 1 draw as well. This is their run to come. So a couple of really difficult games, put Adelaide on the road next week and then Melbourne at home. But you'd like their draw. You like their draw 100%. There and think, can they make a finals charge?
There's not one game on there other than Sydney, even though it's at the Gabba, that you think they can't win. So they probably go into every single one of those games with the talent on their list, with the way that they've started to play, with their good players back in form, with a real target on the opposition. I think Berry's been important in that they don't turn up and think they can win. Now, they're going to have to get on a serious run, and they're starting to do that and win probably 6-7 in a row if they want to get to where they want to be, and that's close to the top 4 as they possibly can. But they're as good a side under Sydney as anyone else.
Let's get to the rest of the round now. It starts at Marvel Stadium tomorrow with North Melbourne taking on Collingwood. The Kangaroos coming off their first win of the season, and then the Giants against Port Adelaide. That's a really important game for both sides.
It is, and the Giants said they got to work on their offence. They want to score more, and Port Adelaide, that's what they are known for this year. So we could absolutely have a shootout in the greater west of Sydney tomorrow afternoon.
A couple of exciting games there. Kane, thanks for your help tonight. See you next week.
Good on you, mate.